Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? AMC Bickham's here. We got a whole bunch of AMC news here. We've done a whole bunch of restructuring. I'm going to go ahead and break down these 8Ks for everybody, show you the good side, some of the bad things, what it's going to cost AMC, and we're going to get into the court case and other things as well here real quick. So let's go ahead and break into these press releases. So yesterday, or 2 days ago, Adam Aaron announced this collaboration agreement with creditors, and what this was going to do was bring in 223 million of new money, and most of that was going to be used to refinance the 2026 debt. Now, after we refinance this 2026 debt, you're still going to have about $41 million due in 2026, but Adam Aaron said that AMC should be cash flow positive, so to me, the remaining 41 million should be very easy for AMC to pay off. This will bring an additional 87 million in liquidity to the company, so that's another great news. Help shore up the reserves balance sheet a little bit as well. Look into this as well. So another thing they're going to do is debt reduction. They're going to do a debt for equity swap of 143 million. If you guys look at how many shares it was around 79 million shares, and it ends up being a conversion price of 1.79. So the lenders did pretty good in this conversion. One of the reasons why they gave them such a lower price was because of this lawsuit. This lawsuit costed AMC a lot more than I thought it was going to. This was a very, very costly lawsuit for us. We're going to get into that in a minute here, but one of the last things that this does is it full resolution of the lawsuit. So what ended up happening is 80 people have signed on board now today. And with 80 people signing on board, what's going to end up happening with that lawsuit is it's more than likely going to get dropped. You're going to have around 20% now still in that case. It's going to be a lot of the smaller people. Is it going to be too cost effective for them to bring him to court? It's going to be a point where they're just going to sign on with this agreement. So getting that 80% was a big hurdle for AMC today that they jumped right on over. So this is all good news. Like I said, it's always good when you can push this debt out, restructure. One of the things that you can see is AMC's path going forward is every time they can restructure, they're going to restructure their debt until they can get to a place where they're bringing in profits that is manageable, and then their credit rating goes up. And once they can get their credit rating up, they're going to refinance these loans later on. But right now, until that point, they're going to get a lot more expensive with this deal. That is one of the things that I do want people to know. The interest rate on these goes from 7.9 up to 12 to 15%. If we do not approve shares, also there are contingencies down the road because the bondholders want to feel more secure. They want more debt paid down or more cash in the reserves to make themselves feel a little warmer. So part of the thing that they did is if we don't approve shares here in December, so Adam Aaron, it's in the press release. They're going to ask us for shares. They're going to ask us for more shares. I'm going to guess around 200 to 250 million shares. I'll break down why they need all of those. Now, one of the things here that, like I said, one of the biggest problems here was they had to get all of these people on board to drop the litigation, so they had to give a lot, to get a lot. So one of the things here that I want people to look here, we'll go ahead and look at what Adam Aaron said. So one of the things this does is brings 220 million into our company's treasury through new issuance of debt, which again, most of that's going to go to paying down the 2026 debt. If he's correct and AMC is cash flow positive, like I said, the remaining 41 shouldn't be any problem. It's going to convert 143 million of debt into equity. So again, we did have dilution, but you did pay down 143 million in debt. But one of the reasons I want to bring this up is if you look here, he wants to convert even more, up to 337 million. Now that's 194 more million dollars worth of shares he wants to convert into the future. Now he's going to need those shares. So right now he had all these shares on the side that he was waiting for these convertible notes. So what happened is these are the convertible notes from before. This isn't a new bond. They're converting their notes. And he paid, like I said, his conversion rate was $1.79, unfortunately. So he wants to do another 194 million, so he's going to need to ask for those shares to hold on the side for these convertible notes down the road. So again, depending on what the share price is at that time, like I said, you can need an additional 50, 60, 70 million shares just to finish off what is rest from this proposal, and that to get up to the 337 million. So I do want people to understand that there definitely could be more dilution through convertible notes down the road, and he 100% will ask for more shares for this meeting in December. He will 100% ask for more shares because he needs to fill these obligations. So, but one of the other things it says here now is it fully resolves litigation. We could finally get this court thing, their last court thing, done and over with. AMC has been in lawsuits non-stop, so they can finally get this done with, move on, look forward to profits, look forward to a robust 2026, and like you said, cash flow positive here the rest of the year. So what this does, strengthens their balance sheet. As long as you believe in the box office, this helps AMC. Yes, it's going to get a little more costly for them. The debt, I want everybody to understand, if you look at these notes, it goes up from 7.9% for the interest rate up to 12 to 15%, depending on the risk and depending on what, if we approve these shares, they could additionally go up to 17%. So approving these shares when he asks is vital. It's vital to the company. Again, a lot of people are freaking out because I mentioned a reverse split on Twitter. Now, when we talk about a reverse split, I said it's a possibility that he asks. It's not immediate, doesn't need it. It's something to where the float after he asks for these new additional shares could get high enough to where he says, hey, let's do a 2-to-1, 3-to-1, whatever. You can still approve the new shares without doing a reverse split. He probably isn't even going to ask. It all depends on how high the float is and how high a CEO cares. Like I said, everyone freaking out. I'm just letting you know it might be on the ballot. I'm not saying that he's thinking about it. It's necessary. Anything. It's just like, hey, he might ask. If he does, don't blow up. Don't freak out. It's just that's what CEOs do when their floats end up getting as high as AMC is going to end up getting with these new additional shares. It's nothing crazy here. He's not out to get you. But I did want people to be aware that might be on there, and the trolls are going to take it and run with it and blow up. I'm just trying to get ahead. I want everybody to have all information available. One of the things I do want people to know, though, is with this new approval, AMC, so some of that new liquidity of that 87 million is going to actually again be taken away because you're going to have to pay out a consent fee. Now, if you guys look in here, it talks about they're going to, under the transaction support agreement, that AMC agrees to pay all transaction fees, consent fees for doing all of this. It's like a sweetener. It was like, hey, to help you guys get on board, let's go ahead and I'll give you a big percentage and I'll give you a payment up front. So one of the things I want people to be aware of, if you guys come down here and look at the transaction agreement at the end of the 8K, it'll bring you over to the transaction agreement. Control F, hit consent fee. You can come down here and see. So when AMC receives when they receive this, was this the right one? Right one. There you go. So once this is approved, and which it just was because today 80% of the shareholders approved it, and like I said, more of them will most likely sign on instead of go through litigation. I guarantee that case is going to get dropped. But AMC shall pay a consent fee to ENAD Hawk Group. Now, I just want people to understand that because, again, that's more money or more shares that is going to go out. So I always want people to understand what we're paying, AMC. So, again, we're going to be paying a higher interest rate, almost double. Now, I want people to understand it's not Adam Aaron going, here's all this to you guys. AMC already has a 12% note out there. So they have to make this new bond attractive to be able to refinance the debt. And if they don't make it about the 12 to 15%, they can just go buy other bonds. That is why it went to that percentage. It has nothing to do with somebody going, oh my God, he's doubling it for his buddies. No, it's because of what other bonds are. They set the price for newer bonds. So again, that is why they got to the 12 to 15%. They need people to want to buy into this one, and they agreed. But again, I just want everybody to be aware, another $15 million worth of either common stock is going to be given to this group. So just want everyone to be aware of the ups, the downs. So again, this is going to get a little more costly for AMC, but if you see all of this, it pushes most of the debt out to 2029, 2030. By then, the box office should be more than back. You should be back to your high numbers. AMC should be back to profitability. Again, like I showed you with these production companies, they all need to have record-breaking years the next 2-3 years, just as bad as AMC does. With all of those strikes, with all of that lost money, they need to still tell their shareholders, again, and you're seeing streaming service numbers across the board dropping. More loss, more problems for these guys. So again, they're going to need to make up this losses through more videos, more movies. So great news for AMC as a movie theater company. Let me see, make sure I'm not missing anything else. So again, today 80% agreed. So this is all going through. Everything has been approved, but I just want to let everybody know there will be a vote soon for the shareholder meeting on shares. We desperately need people to approve the shares. We desperately do. Or otherwise, again, you're going to go ahead and you're going to be paying the 17% on these bonds, because what happened is these shareholders, what they did is they said, all right, there's case wins. They want AMC to be a little bit more financially stable, have a little more debt paid down, or have more cash reserves. And the way that they want, that's the way AMC currently could say, hey, we can do that by if we have the ability to raise that. So again, just because they approve these shares, it doesn't mean that the bondholders are saying, hey, you need to dilute right away and pay this down. No, they're saying, hey, we want to make sure you have the ability to do so, and we want to make sure that the risk is not there. If more risk comes because you guys got denied on your shares, we want more percentage just to make us feel warm and fuzzy. So again, these shares for AMC, when he asked for them, they are going to be vital for this loan. They're going to be vital for AMC's health. And again, when it comes down to a recovering box office, that's the only thing holding the AMC's price down. So if he does get these shares, he doesn't even need to dilute. I mean, he's not even going to be able to dilute those shares until 2026. And as we went over, 2026 should be the best box office since the pandemic. You're going to have $3 billion quarters. And that's when he can dilute, when the stock price recovers from those $3 billion quarters. So again, guys, just because he gets it in December doesn't mean day one December he's going to dilute. He's going to let the box office recover, and then he's going to pay down more debt. But it is very vital for us to go ahead and approve these new shares. But I just wanted everybody to know about the 15 million more shares that need to be paid out. The cost that it did for us was the conversion cost on these bonds to settle the lawsuit. So instead of settling the lawsuit through our cash and reserves, which could have crippled AMC, he ended up doing it through these convertible notes by giving them a very generous rate. So I just wanted everybody to be aware. So like I said, this is all good news for AMC. It's just going to get a little more costly for AMC with this new debt. And again, we had to pay out that new conversion rate. We had to pay out this $15 million. And then we had to pay out the new interest rate of 12 to 15%. So that is everything that came down from this restructuring. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and write it down. I'll comment in below and I'll go ahead and reply to you. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.